Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the third week of our class. This week we're going to talk about building your career narrative. And this is going to culminate into a final assignment that will be based around your career autobiography. So I'm going to spend the majority of this lecture explaining exactly what we're kind of looking for, and we'll go over some of the things that you might want to include in your autobiography. I typically give people a lot of freedom with this assignment. You know who you are, where you've been, and where you're going, so it's not my job to tell you, what you should write. Just think of what's relevant to where you've been and where you're going. So just to generally sum up what this assignment is, the career autobiography will give you the chance to write about yourself and tell me, where was your first interest in the career field you're going towards? What are some factors that, as a child you might have connected with that helped you to grow and understand that, now that you're in college and you're looking at different careers, this is the logical progression that led to you being here. Or maybe there was some sort of profound life event that happened to you, whether it be last year, 10 years, 20 years ago, that kind of changed the course of where you thought you were going. That's the kind of stuff that I like to see in these assignments that just shows that this isn't just, you didn't just show up at, school and, have no general plan. And if you are here and you're still undecided and you're trying to figure it out, what your goal is for moving forward into your career field, or finding a career field in general, tell me about what interests you right now, and what are some thoughts you're having now that you've experienced maybe your first semester or your first year or however long you've been in college. Just things that you've noticed in your classes or that you've found to be helpful to you that might be leaning you towards one career, or something that you might have tried at class and said, all right, that's absolutely not what I want to do. Because I think we all have those moments. I can tell you that I know that originally I had started out as a bio pre-med student here at NIU many, many, many years ago. And I was able to keep up with all of, keeping my grades up, having good test scores, all of that. But what I found was that I had very, very, very little interest in learning kind of the more tedious bio information, learning exactly what cells go into what layer of your skin and stuff. I just didn't care, to be honest with you. And that, a professor had to sit down and said, look, this is the kind of stuff that you have to get out of the way. This is the stuff you need to put a lot of work into. And, I was able to do well in those classes, but I just didn't want to do this for semester after semester. But what I did like that I was doing is I started learning about general psychiatry, which pushed me into thinking more and more about, if I like this part of, the medical practice, then maybe I should explore more into a psychology degree or a counseling degree, which is exactly what happened. I ended up changing my major to a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, which was very helpful because I'd already had that scientific experience with chemistry, biology, physics from my original degree that I started in. And it transferred very well, and that kind of pushed me to be a counselor now, is that the stuff that I really liked was available to me without having to do all of the other stuff that goes into becoming a medical doctor. And yeah, you have to learn trade-offs. I'll be absolutely honest with you. A licensed professional counselor makes maybe a tenth of what a medical doctor will make starting out. And that's a decision you have to make for yourself as well, is when you come to this fork in the road and you decide where you want to go or where you're going forward, are there things you're willing to give up? Is a salary that important to you, or would you rather do something that you're genuinely interested in and, still be able to support yourself but not live this lavish lifestyle? I talked to a lot of people in previous semesters that started out in business because, if you have a business degree, you can really apply that in a lot of ways, and it can be a very financially desirable degree to have as well. And these people would end up deciding that, I'm just not into learning all this stuff. I don't really enjoy this at all. And I had people that started out business, they wanted to be on Wall Street, in 5 years. And then they went and got an art degree to finish. And so writing stuff like that, like a dialogue that shows that, this is how I've developed so far. This is how a job that I had when I was, in high school helped push me more into this field. Or, I had this experience that changed my viewpoint on this job that I originally wanted, and that's why I'm doing this now. That kind of narrative is awesome, and I love listening to how people arrive at where they're at. And then the final piece of the autobiography that I'm looking for is, where are you going? So you figured out this is something that you're interested in pursuing. What steps are you taking in the future? Are you going to specialize your degree in something like a subfield? For instance, my master's is a Master of Science in Counseling, and I'm specializing in trauma-informed counseling, which is a research basically on how PTS and other things impact survivors of trauma, and understanding how to work one-on-one with people that survive trauma in the most effective way scientifically. And that's got a lot of my interest in it, and it's something that not a lot of other people do, so it's a very niche specialty in a way. So what is your future going to look like in that field as well? There's further instructions on the page where you'll submit your career autobiography, and I'm really excited to hear how that goes. So I'm looking forward to reading all of those. This class has been going great so far, so good work to everyone, and I'm looking forward to see what we have coming in our next module. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.